Hello, welcome back to my channel, Crafting Your Memories with Paula. We are going to talk about adding some sparkle and shine to your projects. Now that's what brings the happy to your projects, and I love being able to pull out all these sparkly additions when the moment calls with a celebration photo, celebration card, whatever it is that you are planning to put together. So I'm just going to show you a few of the products that I like to pull on when I am adding that little bit of extra something to my creations. So the first one you're seeing down here is our glitter paper. Now the glitter paper in Close to My Heart is beautiful, strong glitter. It doesn't leave residue. If you go like this, there's not little bits of sparkly bits coming off it. It is nice and strong, as you can see. It's got a good surface on the back for adhering things, and it's got a real consistent look to the colour that's on the piece. Now what I'm showing you here actually is our brand new colour called Journey. It's a beautiful shade. It sparkles beautifully in the glitter paper itself, and we've got a whole variety of other colours also in the collection. Now there are many things you can do with glitter paper. Being a cardstock weight, you can certainly just add it as you would normal cardstock to your layouts and cards. So for example, you might choose to have just a strip down the side of your page. Even the skinniest strip of 1/16 of a width is a really nice little touch. It adds a bit of elegance to the look of the page. However, you could also photo mat your photos with it so that you've got the lovely bit of glitter peeping out all the way around, and that certainly does add quite a touch of elegance to a page as well. And then of course you can get out your die cuts and do some die cutting. So you might have lots of different words. Here's one that I put together of just examples of different word die cuts we might have in our range, cut out with different colors of glitter, and don't they all stand out beautifully? Meaning not necessarily you wouldn't put them together like this on a layout. It's not awful, but it's not the way I'd possibly do it, but they do add such a nice little extra to the page being cut out of a glitter rather than just a solid look cardstock. So those are some of the really simple ways of using your glitter paper. Now just bearing in mind, we also have a product called Shimmer Trim. Now Shimmer Trim is a lot more flexible, it's thinner and pliable. It comes in a just under 1/2 inch actually strip. I'll actually show a different color because on top of that blue you're not seeing much difference, are you? There you go. It's as I say, it's not as strong and stiff as your glitter paper, and it's got an adhesive backing. So you can just peel from here, and of course it won't work on camera very easily, but you can peel on here, pull it off, and then it becomes a sticky piece to stick down. What I do sometimes do with these is put them in my trimmer, take off a little bit of the sticky so that it will stick in my trimmer, cut it into a half so it's thinner still, and use really thin strips on my pages too. So already being adhesive backed is a really good extra with this, and it makes nice little washi tape looks and everything like that too. But the glitter paper itself is that much more versatile because it is that larger size. So one thing I would like to point out though is we do have glitter paper in really pale colours as well. So we have got a white and we have got a really light ballerina. Those ones are also extra handy because you can do a little bit more with them. So we've got all those beautiful colours. If I pull out my all-purpose mat under here, pull in our brand new colour Journey with a blending brush, I can add colour to my glitter paper and make it appear a different effect. So I can do just your normal type of blending, start dark at one end and get in darker and lighter if I want to graduate it down. It's quite forgiving. Because it's got glitter on top, it sort of helps you to move the colour back and forth. So just here I'm just going to blend it off so that's just a gradual effect going from your nice strong journey through to the white at the other end. So that is a really cool effect, and it might work beautifully for the colors that you're trying to pull in on your page. So that's just a couple ideas with glitter paper. It certainly is a really easy way of adding a bit of sparkle and shine to your page. Right, the next thing you might want to pull out is our stickles product. Actually, I'll keep that off. Now stickles and liquid pearls are not something that Close to My Heart will stop forever because they aren't a Close to My Heart branded. We've been doing it as a courtesy to get them into people's hands, but you can get these from many different craft stores as well. Now with the stickles, you are able to add a nice little sparkle just by squeezing out. So you can just make your own little embellishments, or you can do a few little other fun things with it. With the pearls, they're more of a smoother, shinier effect, But what I love about them is when you colour them with ink, you can mix them with ink, add them to a colour that you want, and you get a beautiful pearlescent effect. So let's just see how that all works. So I've got a little bit of scrap white here. I'm going to pull in Flamingo, which is just one of our pinks. Blend a bit of colour underneath first and foremost, just to give us a little bit of something to look at. I'm actually working on a table that's a little bit bumpy underneath, so we're not going to get the most smoothest blending here, but that's not a problem. That's not the purpose of this video. So I'll just get some colour going on in the background. And once we've got that, I would normally allow it to dry for a couple of minutes, just so that you don't have too much dampness going on when you're adding something else that's quite wet. We can carry on though, it's not going to be a major for this little sample. So once I've given it a bit of colour, then I can pull in a stencil, pop this on over, get a little brush, and I'm just going to squeeze some of this. This one I've actually chosen is, what is it, Stickles, the Diamond Stickles. Squeeze a little bit out onto my all-purpose mat, pull it all up, and this one's got a little bit of a glitter all the way through it, and then I can just scrape it over the stencil, and this pink strip is going to become a sparkly pink strip, which is a really fun effect. Let's just see if we can pick up a little bit more of that goldy stuff. There we go, let's have a look at how that works. Okay, so let's see if you can see some of that sparkly going on. It's a really pretty effect, and it does sparkle up your project pretty quickly. Now, as I was saying before, if you wanted to, you can colour either those the stickles like I just showed you, or the liquid pearls. So I'll show you with the liquid pearls. This here is the opal, the white opal liquid pearls. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out there. You can see it's quite a shiny, smooth effect. I'm going to mix it all together with that ink that I just put on my mat. And once again, go through my stencil. I'll go on a different patch and bring through. I didn't make very much actually then, so we'll just see if we've got enough to give the effect. May not be quite enough, but you can kind of see it's actually given a nice strong effect. It's not, but it is smoother and it's shiny as well. Whoop, let's get it under the camera. Smoother and shiny. So two quite different effects. That's a real sparkly one. This is a more smoother but beautiful shimmer. Kind of cool, eh? So those are a few new ideas that you might think of to use those stickles or liquid pearls that are in your kit to add that little bit of sparkle and shine to your projects. So we've used a bit of glitter paper and we've used some of our stickles or our liquid pearls. Now another way of bringing sparkle to your projects is, of course, to bring in our shimmer brushes. So we have a whole range of shimmer brushes, lots of different colours. They're really beautiful to work with. What you do with these is you open them up, make sure the canister is tightly squeezed on so you never twist it open. But once you've got it open, you can give it a good shake. You can see this one's actually quite a juicy one. And I can splatter all over my project like this to add a nice little splatter, or I can paint on my project. So I'm just going to give you a little idea of one thing that I do quite like to do with these, and that is to colour my paper so it's all shimmery. So let's just dry that up. I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of a few different colours. So this one, let's just see what this one was. Oh, I've forgotten. I think that one is evergreen. This one is pine, I'm pretty sure. So they're both two darker greens, and then I've brought in a yellow. This one's lemonade, which is quite a fun, or sort of a goldy yellow actually. I might do a little bit more yellow. And I'm going to squirt that with a little bit of water. That's just going to help the colours move around a little bit. So here's some water going on here. I could get a little paintbrush and move, smudge them together, but I'm just going to grab my paper and let the paper do that for me. So I'm just going to go move and smush my way around with the paper, lift it up, and you can just see this beautiful shiny effect that we've created, marbly effect. Keep going around, try again, and we've just got a beautiful marbly effect. So letting that dry, it has now got so much more interest to that cardstock. It's got a little sparkle to it, obviously, because it's come from a shimmer brush, but it's also going to be really, really lovely for cutting out dies. and I like to do it often with things like leaves. So we've got that beautiful sprigs and leaves die cut at the moment. That one will work perfectly with it because it's going to pull out lots of tiny little leaves with lots of variation in the greens, which is just perfect to make them look a bit more realistic. So that's another fun way of adding some sparkle and shine to your projects. I hope you're finding a little bit of interest in here, something that you might be able to go away and give it a go yourself. Now, a final one, of course, that we've had for a little while in stock, and is one of my favourites, and that is creating little, what we call them, shakers. So we have different sized die cuts in our range that help us to cut the pieces required to create a shaker. You can also cut with any die cut shape, and then use consistent foam around the edge to seal it, and then you can sprinkle in little bits of shine to make the shaker look or come alive, really. So in our range we have the different die cuts, and we've got different sized circles that are little packs of shaker window foam and acetate. So you've got your little foam in here. It's got a piece all the way around the edge that you loosen up. So you've got your outside piece, which is a circle. That's going to stick on the outside of your die cut circle. You're going to fill it up with sprinkles inside, and then because it's now raised, you can put a top layer over the top, an acetate layer, a see-through layer over the top. You can seal the sparkles through, and then if you want to pretty it up, you can cut out a little stitched border to go around the outside edge. So you've created a sparkly piece to your page. Now I'm going to actually show you now a finished project that's got a lot of these different ideas on it, and it's got a shaker as well, so you can see that in action. So this page here is a special page. It was at my niece's wedding, and there was 3 of us girls. It's my 2 daughters and myself all dressed up. So it does really suit having a bit of sparkle and shine going on. So what are the things I have done on this page that we've spoken about today? Well, first off, you can see the background is coloured. We've got some of the blues and pinks in the background, but that was actually a white piece of glitter. You can see it's been cut out. It's also looking very messy because it's been on a mixed media surface. But you can see how I've transformed the border from being white to being colourful. Then I've just cut a white piece of cardstock in the centre, and I masked off this bottom piece, and I did my blending first with my flamingo through the base, and then you can probably catch there's a little bit of shine going on there. I stenciled and put those stickles through the stencil just to add a nice little glittery patch along the base. Another thing you're going to see straight away here is one of my titles, or my title I should say, has been cut out of the white glitter paper. So whenever I use glitter paper, I gut it, particularly if it's for a border. Even if it's a border of a photo mat, I gut the centre, and then you can use those extra pieces for other things. So I've used that one to do my title and add a little touch of glitter in that little dovetailed cluster. Now another thing that we talked about was splattering in the background. So I splattered with a ballerina shimmer brush in the background, so you might be able to catch a little bit of shine going on in the background. I also used a little bit of blue, not a lot, just a touch. Then I have done these beautiful leaves. Now those have come from the sprigs and leaves die cut, and I used a piece of paper similar to what we created today that I'd use let to dry with shimmer on it to create the multi effect of those leaves. So they've got a little bit more to them than just a piece of plain green cardstock would have, which is really fun. And then the last thing I've done is I've actually created a little shaker out of this element here. So these are like gigantic sparkles that we put on our scrapbook pages. But I've done this, actually I forgot to mention, I have used a metallic marker too, which adds a bit of sparkle just to define that sparkle shape. But in here I decided to cut out that hexagon, and I have popped on top of that one of those circle foam tape squares, or sorry, behind it, filled it up with some little shimmery bits, and then sealed it off. And that's created a movable, shakeable piece on my page as well. So as you can see, this page shows quite a lot of those different techniques you can use to add a bit of sparkle and shine to your pages and have a lot of fun doing so. I hope you've picked up a few tips and tricks. Like my page if you have, and come back again for another technique talk at some point in the future. Thanks for watching.